So it's the January transfer window. It's open, and we all know that Man United need players. We need a new striker. We need another centre-back. Who can we sign? Who are the targets? What I'm going to run through in this video is Manchester United's plan for the window. We're going to be speaking about players I don't think we should be talking about, but players we are talking about. Thomas Muller, Eric Choupo-Moting, Timo Werner. What about Jadon Sancho, Raphael Varane? What about Guirassy from Stuttgart? We're going to speak and run through all United's plans. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. I think I know what the comments are going to be like. But if you can, drop a like on this video. I'm going to cover the whole transfer window for United, what we do and what we don't do. But let's run through these plans. This is coming from Laurie Whitwell and The Athletic, running through the strikers that we're linked with. Now, spoiler alert, this January transfer window is looking likely to shape up like our previous few January transfer windows where we've been looking around for loan signings and bargain transfers. It's another one of those windows. When it comes to how much money United have got to spend, this is what The Athletic are reporting. United's cash reserves, we all know that the Glazers have obliterated them over the last few years. Only 76 million left in the United's cash in bank, right? When it comes to how much we can spend on the credit card, we've got £40 million left. We don't have much money. Now, I think something that's fair that I spoke about on the live show this morning is questions around that investment from Jim Ratcliffe, okay? We know he's going to be putting in $300 million. $200 million straight away when he's ratified as the new 25% owner, and another $100 million by the end of the year. Now, that was down to be used in terms of infrastructure, but that can also be used in signings too. Now, I need to still do more research on this, but I'm pretty sure that if that investment is made, as long as it's made by the end of March, is it? Then it will affect the right books. Therefore, it could affect the January transfer window. But truth be told, The Athletic are reporting that we don't have much money, that won't affect it. Now, Jim Ratcliffe is now in Manchester. His work is beginning there. Dave Brailsford is already there as well. So the wheels are turning. But because of how slow the whole takeover process was, it's unlikely to, I would say, have too much of a dramatic impact on the January transfer window and our ability to sign players. Now, I would say January, it's more important to focus on the players leaving, which is what I'm going to quickly do before we run through and talk about the strikers. Donny van der Beek's already left. Good luck to you. On loan at Eintracht Frankfurt. I hope he nails it. I hope he then sends him to Frankfurt. And we just draw a line under it. The Donny van der Beek was a... Jeez, man, that was one of many bad signings we've made. Now, Jadon Sancho, this is, I would say, the transfer that could change how this January shapes up. All right, this is what The Athletic are reporting on Jadon Sancho. He's saying, look, he's available. United would ideally like to loan him out to protect his value and recoup some of his wages. So, maybe Sancho won't be leaving on a permanent deal. And I think we'd struggle to get somebody to sign him on a permanent deal anyway, because he hasn't played in like 3 odd months. So United will probably be looking for a full season-long loan, maybe with an option or an obligation to buy. Probably an option, considering he hasn't played. But maybe I'm wrong then. Maybe Sancho is leaving on a permanent deal. Is completely unlikely. And I don't think it's likely with Varane either. Now, we decided not to extend his contract. It means he can talk to other clubs outside of the Premier League in January. It's been reported here from John Murtaugh's expedition to Saudi Arabia that, look, apparently their squads are full. So it can't be added to in January. I don't know whether there's certain rules on how many players they can get in and out. I don't really know. But Varane leaving, again, feels quite unlikely in January. Ancelotti saying that Real Madrid aren't looking for a centre-back signing either. Martial. I really hope that Martial leaves. But again, it's going to be down to Suits and who can pay his wages. So all things considered, I don't expect United to have much money in this transfer window. We've got players on big wages who we need to get rid of over the next couple of windows. And Sancho is definitely one of them. Martial's one of them. And I would say Varane is one of them too, overall. Not as much of a priority as the other two. But in terms of the strikers getting linked, boy, oh boy. None of them moved me. And I can't believe this is at least the third January transfer window in a row where we're doing this. Scraping around looking for a bargain striker signing. Igalo before, Weghorst before that. Might have been one of them in the window before that too. But Choupo-Moting, right? Dude's what, 34? 2 goals in 14 appearances. Problem solved. That's all right. Let's just move on to the other targets we look at. Thomas Muller. But the Thomas Muller one is a bit weird. This may well just be like an original shortlist looking at all the different options available. He's just signed a contract extension. So why on earth would he leave the club where he's played his entire career to come on loan to United in January? Just feels a bit weird. That one doesn't really make much sense. Don't really need to look at his numbers. Don't really need to. But Choupo-Moting and Thomas Muller. And then another name on that list is, I mean, this one you can have a conversation around at least. I think so anyway, compared to the other two. Timo Werner. A striker who massively struggled at Chelsea. And that's been people like, he was crap at Chelsea. Gone on loan to the Bundesliga where he has had his best times. Not been scoring much, 2 goals in 8 appearances. But Timo Werner, at least at the age of 27, is somebody, I mean, look, I suppose there's not really too much point looking at age, considering this is just a short-term loan signing, right? But of the 3 there, I would say that Werner, I mean, it's like different shades of shit, if I'm being completely honest. None of these names are really going to move you. Another name I think should probably be on the list if we're looking at 30-year-old plus strikers who are going to be cheap. And if we're going to get them on loan, blah, blah, blah. Taremi was a striker that we were linked with quite heavily in the summer in the concept of signing someone like Rasmus Højlund as the young, up-and-coming potential. And somebody like Taremi, who's more of an experienced partner, which I think is what we're going to be looking for. And if we're going to be looking at the likes of, as I said, Thomas Muller, weird, and Choupo-Moting, then we absolutely should be looking. Not a Timo Werner as much in that sense, but Taremi. And you know, I guarantee, wait for it, wait for the articles that come out linking us with a move for Benzema. I think he's like semi-fallen out of favour at Al Ittihad. And you know, it's going to be, you can call it already, it's going to be like the Daily Mirror, it's going to be David McDonald, it's going to be at some point in the next like 4 days, but then Benzema's probably going to get linked with a move to United. But given, as I said, that we're looking around the likes of Muller, of Choupo-Moting, then it's not really too outrageous to really add the name of Benzema to that list, is it? It kind of just falls in line with all the other 30-year-old plus strikers that we are being linked with. Now, there's one striker that we're getting linked with when it comes to a potential signing, and that's Serhou Guirassy, right? Who undoubtedly is having the best season out of all of those strikers. Now, this is what The Athletic are reporting on Guirassy. He's got a release clause of £15 million. And for a striker who, as it's written there, has scored 17 goals in 14 games so far this season, is a pretty cheap release clause. So whatever's written there in €40 million, that's not what his release clause is. So United could technically take advantage of that. Do we have the money for it? First of all, question mark, question mark. But also, when it comes to Guirassy, is a question mark as to whether or not, I mean, it is a risk, right? And it would be a punt, because if you look at his return this season with the Stuttgart he plays for? Yeah. 17 goals in 14 games is great. Year before, though, he got 11 goals in 22 games. Year before that, back in Ligue 1, he got 9 goals in 37 games. Year before that, 10 goals in 27 games. Year before that, 9 goals in 23 games. So you can see that this season, Guirassy is absolutely having the best season of his career. So is this just an anomaly this season? Is this a new level that he's found at the age of 27? Is he a late bloomer? One of those things are correct. And it's up to United and the scouts to do their research properly to try and minimise the risk. To try and understand truly whether this is a new version of him or he's just had a bit of a blinder for half a season. But no matter where we're looking, really, as I said, I'll run through the options again. This really won't move you. Not in the right sense, anyway. Choupo-Moting, Thomas Muller, Timo Werner. I've thrown in Taremi's name because if you're going to include the rest, you may as well include him as well. And I guarantee you we get in with Benzema. And then if we have money, Guirassy might be a signing too. And in terms of centre-backs, there's one name who will definitely be on the list of all United fans, and understandably so. Todibo had a fantastic season with Nice, certainly progressing Nice, still having their best season under the Ineos ownership. Been linked with Spurs, but Spurs are going to be going after, what's his name? Dragusin. Romanian centre-back, plays for Genoa. They were linked with a move for Todibo, but I think got priced out of it. So that's sort of collapsed. Chelsea getting linked with a move for him as well. Fabrizio Romano is saying, look, keep an eye on the situation. My personal instincts are telling me that I don't think we're going to be moving for Todibo because it would cost too much money in this current window. And I don't think Nice would sell him for cheap, and I don't think Ratcliffe would ask Nice to sell him for cheap to United because he'd be devaluing one of his own clubs to increase the value of the other. So it's kind of biting off your nose, spite your face sort of thing. I would love for United to be having a busy transfer window in January, getting rid of 3-4 players that shouldn't be here, signing in a striker like Ivan Toney, signing in a centre-back like Jean-Claire Todibo, players that I could genuinely see being part of an actual project going forward. But truth be told, as is reported by The Athletic, we're skint. We have been for a while. And I don't know whether or not this investment here from Ratcliffe is going to have any sort of impact on January. That's currently unknown. And the fact that The Athletic still aren't reporting on it either goes to show how complicated it is. But that's all the targets we're getting linked with. That's the plans that we can see so far. Out of all those options, which would you prefer? Choupo-Moting, Muller, I know. But if you've got to choose one, Choupo-Moting, Muller, Taremi, Benzema, Werner, or maybe Guirassy being signed. What do you think about centre-backs? You let me know what you think in the comments below, but I don't think it's going to be a fantastic January transfer window for United. Kind of like this season so far, really.